Welcome to ATT Live. I'm Braden.
I'm Dan.
Thank you for coming and hanging out March 17th with us tail end of an extra long weekend. And Dan, why is it an extra long weekend? Well, that's because my son had his first birthday this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. You should tell us about that.
Have I told you about this yet?
No, this is the first time I've ever heard about it.
Well, in that case, did you know it takes about 15 hours of prep time for a 45-minute birthday delivery?
I did not. This is the first time you've ever told me that detail.
Is that the first time I've ever told you that detail? Well, that's basically what happens. It's just been an absolute nightmare all weekend doing this stuff. But nailed it. I was going to tell you about some birthday balloons I blew up, but you know what? I'm not going to bore you with those kind of details. Let's get right into what the people want to hear. Let's get into some aliens, because that's what's been going on this week. We were talking about the Mexican aliens last week, and we've got updates, baby.
Okay, first of all, they're Peruvian aliens.
Sorry, South American aliens.
Yeah, okay, that's better. We talked about it last week. We had just mentioned something to look out for was going to be on March 12th. There was going to be a press conference being held by Jaime Maussan and Michael Mazzola, who is a executive TV / documentary show producer. Who he had picked up on Jaime Maussan's alien mummy saga as it now is continuing to develop. I know some people have asked about, where are the alien mummies? What are they doing with them? What is happening right now?
Well, some people in close circles have called this press conference one of the most important press conferences in human history because of it's one of the greatest discoveries of ever, right?
Yeah. And that's why I could only find one stream from Telemundo 50 Dos.
Yeah, Telemundo 51.
52.
Oh, 52. Sorry. Yeah. One of my favorite things, because I watched the entire, I sped up the Spanish portions or whatever. I'm Peruvian. I don't know what.
No, they speak Spanish.
When I didn't know what was happening, I just fast forwarded. But it was great because it's right at the beginning, you have this documentary filmmaker, Mike Mazzola. He comes up stage and he's like, hey, listen, everybody. Listen, this is the greatest discoveries of our time. This is, you don't even know. You can't even guess how many scientists have been working on this, studying and doing science on these things. And I'm here to tell you that, listen, no one involved in these things is claiming these are aliens. This is a humongous scientific discovery, and we're not at the point where anyone involved with these things is calling them aliens.
He does put a particular emphasis on no one is saying that aliens.
Nobody. No one involved in this.
Person.
But I want to bring up Jaime Maussan, who we refer to as a hero now. He's a hero. We'd like to bring him up on stage to begin the presentation. Jaime walks on stage and he goes, I think these are aliens.
Within the first minute.
Minute.
He's like, I'm pretty sure that these are extraterrestrials.
He's like, I don't know. But these are extraterrestrials, 100%. They're 1,000-year-old extraterrestrials. Instantly,
it's impressive. I was like, was he not listening? Was he? I mean, I don't know. He just wanted to correct guy. Did they not get their notes straight before this press conference?
Was he not listening to Mazzola
as he was
bring him up? He's like, hey, nobody,
not a single person here is saying that these are extraterrestrials. So they had this press conference, which they had pulled out. And so Jaime Maussan was there along with Mike Mazzola and the other presenter like, and then also Jaime Maussan's lawyer was there as well.
He's like, anyone talks any shit, we're handing Lawsuits out, right? He's got him ready.
He's got him ready to
He's
go.
gonna make it rain on the crowd out there.
So they all kind of showed up to make a presentation of essentially the newer bodies that they have recovered. So originally, I mean, if you've been following the Alien Mummy saga as closely as we have at Alien Theorists Theorizing, originally it started out with the one. Like I remember the one from the Gaia documentary, and Jaime Maussan was in on that one. And that was that was what they're calling them now is Tridactyls at 3 fingers, because they all have like 3 fingers.
That's a terrible name, because like it's too close. It's too close to pterodactyl.
I call them tridactyl humanoids.
Yeah, but when you say tridactyl, I'm thinking this is some sort of prehistoric flying beast.
Something way cooler.
Yeah.
And now they're up to 7 now, and they make it clear that the 2 that were presented at the Mexican Congress in September of last year, those ones are different than the ones that they were talking about on the at the press conference. At the press conference, I think they were right. They were talking about specifically, I think Santiago and Sebastian, which are the most recent ones. Those 2 are the innocent, and according to Maussan, each one of these bodies has its own personalities, its own characteristics and whatnot. And so they went on to present different details of these things, and also trying to make clear that the ones that the Peruvian Ministry of Culture had studied and if you were following this closely, then you saw like a report come out. Like it's probably a couple weeks ago, or like a couple months ago, probably maybe December or so, and they put out like an official statement saying that those ones that were presented at the Mexican Congress, like those were fakeries, they were paper mache. These were dolls, just forgeries of some type, made up of different disparate parts of human and animal bones anatomy, all kind of slapped together, and is what they went out and said. And Jaime Maussan was saying, no, this is not true. Those ones that they have are not the same as the ones that we are presenting here today. The ones we are presenting here today are new ones, or ones that we haven't haven't been submitted.
Then he just is like, hey, listen, I'm honest, I'm ethical, and I cannot be. I've never been corrupt, and I can never be corrupt. He just lets that known unprompted. No one fucking asks him any. He just is like, this guy has a long list of bringing things forward that turn out to be skinned monkeys and dolls, and now cake.
Jaime Maussan does not have he doesn't have the best track record. I will say he doesn't have the best track record of presenting, like, I guess what you would consider like full blown legitimate evidence, but he does have a good record of just bringing stuff out that is like probably needs attention. I guess it could put it that way, where he's bringing attention to these things, whether they're hoaxes or whether they're fakeries or whatever.
When you say he's presenting, I mean, listen, this is like the first press conference of his I've ever watched, and it was like, you could have told me that was his first ever press conference and I would have believed you, because the amount of times there's like, he has someone. First off, this guy, he's a TV personality, and he's speaking to a room full of people, and he's got his presentation up on a fucking big screen TV, and he's standing in front of his big screen TV looking at the slides, talking on a mic with his back to the audience. And then he's going, oh, these are 1,000-year-old, look at these hands. And there's, oh, no, whoa, too fast. And the guy just like skips like 6 slides ahead. He's like, I'm not ready for that. Back is, no, stop. Back it up. And the guy goes like back 10. He's like, no, stop. That goes on for like 10 fucking minutes.
Yeah, it is.
Guy like pinwheeling like the slideshow back and forth. Wow,
for a press conference as world shattering as this one was, it was
of this magnitude.
there was definitely a lot of technical difficulties that they experienced, because there was like a whole 5 minutes where they like broke down and they're like, we gotta get, I guess the live stream had went down or something. The audio on the live stream wasn't syncing up or something. They had same problems. You know, they probably had Braden running the stream. I don't know.
Or they had Dan on the other end. Fucking the Braden down there probably had everything dialed in, but the Dan on their end probably was all crackly or some shit. I don't know. They probably had to I'm surprised they didn't restart the press conference halfway through.
They did. They essentially did. When they had to just bring it all back in, and that's where they were kind of just like flipping through the thing. Yeah, I mean, you could chalk up some of Jaime Mousen's things to being like he's making the presentation in his second language, like he's making it in English. It's not his native language, so I'd be like, some of that is that going into there, because I mean. Like I said, earlier or probably before, I've mentioned that, you know, I've seen some of Mousen's other stuff, and like when he's presenting in Spanish, he's fine. Like he's great. Like stuff is fantastic, I guess.
It was good for me. I had no idea the context or what was said.
But yeah, these alien mummies that they trotted out here. The most recent ones that they have, I think we said Santiago and Sebastian. I think the whole points behind these ones that they've said are the most interesting parts are like they have these certain pieces of metal. Like one of them's got like a metal plate on the back, like where the neck and like the neck vertebrae and like the spine meet. There's like a weird little plate back there. It's obviously metal. And I think Mousen's been pretty he's been pretty concentrated or focused on the idea that these pieces of metal, like some of them are osmium, like they're materials that would be toxic inside of to humans. So, you know, implying that these have some type of function. He said that, you know, perhaps it could be communication devices, tracking devices, something that are put on these, you know, these creatures to. Who knows to do what, but you know, he obviously, you know, considers it a likely possibility that these things are extraterrestrials, even though Mike Mazzola, like right off the bat, was like, these are 1,000-year-old humanoid somethings. Like,
yeah, he kind of made it sound like these were like, listening to Mike Mazzola, he kind of made it seem like these were like a new species discovered on Earth rather than anything extraterrestrial.
Right. Yeah. I think Mazzola is on the side of the fence where he's saying that these things are genetically engineered. And the question is like not whether they're extraterrestrial as much as it is that they are who created them, who had the ability to genetically engineer these things, which, you know, they claim have human DNA within them. Mousen says there's like a plethora of DNA, like what did he say? He said it's like human DNA, chimpanzee DNA, and then some other DNA and unknown DNA.
He's got the bones of a possum.
It's like, I was like, there's probably a lot of unknown DNA because you just had people just in there touching them like all over the place. Like all the videos are just people with not wearing masks, not wearing anything, you know, that you consider to be having in like a clinical situation, to be like, you know, we're studying these things, taking samples, and people just breathing all over them and shit. I'm just like, okay, all right.
Even they've had enough of masks. They're like, I'm not wearing them anymore.
So I'm not really sure where this is all. I know Mazzola is involved. I'm not sure to what extent he's involved. I know they said that him and the other presenter.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. It's in my notes from last ATT Live. But
she came up and she said that like, hey, like, you know, we're making a documentary of this. We've been documenting like everything since these things discovery, which was interesting to me because I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll see some really good footage.
I think her name is Serena DC. That's what it says in my notes from the last time. I guess I don't know if DC is like I guess a pseudonym or something. But her first name is Serena. So yeah, they showed some footage. And I don't know if it's old. Some of it's old footage. Some of it's old stuff from other ones that I remember seeing before. And some of it's new. I'm not sure if like they're trying to make a new documentary. I'm not sure if that was mentioned in the press conference. You know, I might have missed it. But you got all this stuff kind of going on, and you're just kind of like asking questions. You're like, who are all these like experts and stuff? Like they have this one guy come up, and he's obviously he's wearing a lab coat. He's very exactly what you sciencey, and he's standing in front of. He's like obviously standing in front of a green screen. I'm not sure if it was live streamed. I'm not sure, but he's like giving the double thumbs up. Like he's giving like double thumbs up. Like somebody's telling him like, yeah, okay. Like it looks good or whatever. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then he starts talking and he's like the worst weatherman ever where he's like just pointing at stuff, but not looking at he's not looking at it. He can't, he's obviously looking at a screen in front of him to see like what he's pointing at, but he's like pointing out different details, on the from the x-rays and like the MRI images of these bodies. And it's just like he's wearing just this crisp white fucking lab coat and like a little red tie, and it's like all this stuff, and you're like, it's science, man. Like obviously I have to take him seriously. He's wearing a lab coat like for to stand in front of a green screen. Very interesting way to present these things. But yeah, it was a long one. I mean, it's on YouTube, and I could only find one video pretty much of it. And that camera guy was terrible.
They do not want the governments and the mainstream media do not want you knowing this most important discovery of all time. So, but you can find on just the one, Telemundo 51.
Yeah, they'll let you know. Telemundo, the real news.
Yeah, the real news. That's where me and Dan get our news.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought was interesting is in the article you sent me is because he did bring his lawyer up there. Like,
oh yes, that's right. Ramos. Can't leave him out. He is top lawyer in Peru, according to Jaime Maussan. But top lawyer. Top lawman.
I didn't realize this after the Peruvian government came out and like he did this in Peru. He's like, we did Peru bodies, and the government was like, okay, well if they're from here, we got to make sure they're not artifacts or anything. They're like,
there's like laws.
We're gonna have to do our due diligence. And then they're like, yo, this is cake. This is some Tridactyl cake that you got here. 3 layers, chocolate, vanilla, chocolate on the bottom, Tridactyl. I think that's Peruvian for like tuxedo cake. But I don't know. Anyways.
Wait. But I forgot about it. So his lawyer is Rafael Arcangel Barrocal Ramos, right? And he is one of the top lawyers in Peru. If you want to look him up, I mean, not exactly top lawyers. He's got some credentials. I mean, he has a degree in political science, that's for sure. If he's ever really a practicing lawyer, not really. The details on that are a little bit fuzzy. But he has announced that they are going to, in the process of, they're filing or they're in the process of filing a $300 million lawsuit against the government of Peru for discrediting Maussan's previous findings. $300 million, which they say, if should the lawsuit go through and they are awarded that, they will use that money to build a museum. They're going to build a museum for these bodies, specifically for the study of these bodies and bodies like them in the future.
Well, yeah, and they're suing them because they're like, hey, we're suing you because you said that they're fake, and we're saying they're not, and you made us look bad. So we're suing you for just an absolute ridiculous number. No wonder he had the lawyer. The lawyer was standing there like just cross-armed waiting. He's just waiting to hand out $100 million lawsuits to anyone that asks any kind of critical question of these things.
They did do something cool, which I thought was kind of neat. I guess you could have, because his lawyer was speaking in Spanish, I guess you could have like they had a QR code or something you could scan like into a live translation of him like speaking, like to translate his Spanish into English or something like that. And I thought that was pretty neat. Like I didn't even know you could do that.
No, I didn't know that either.
That was pretty interesting.
Was it their own app?
I don't know. But yeah, that was the big thing from last week. I know we'll see how the lawsuit shakes out. Even if they get, what is it like? Usually lawyers will, like, if they're gonna file like a big lawsuit, they'll go for like double what they're gonna usually get. So
there's
still get 150 million.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's no way. Like, what's the damages? Like, there's no. This guy. It's not like this is.
It's to Jaime Maussan's highly. He's a highly reputable news.
Yeah, but
person?
he has already been busted in the past for like having hoaxes or presenting, I know he doesn't ever say hoaxes. He says that he's just been, he didn't know that what he was presenting was fake.
Right.
And it's like, well, really, because you say you discovered it.
And you do say like you do say that you think they're extraterrestrial. Like it's not like, hey, I towards the end of like the English portion, I think they try to make it clear that they're doing this mostly to bring attention to these bodies. They invite larger institutions, well-known institutions to come in, and study these bodies and, take a look at them, submit their findings, bring in apply the scientific method to these things, which like for me, I'm like, yeah. Okay. It's overall that's a positive thing, to kind of bring attention to these, and, maybe some large reputable university will pick it up and go in on these. But for right now, it doesn't look like anybody's, chomping at the bit to get their hands on these things. Cause I don't know, some of them, again, they have 7 bodies, and it's like, where are you getting all of these? And, first it was 1, then it was 2, and then it's like people, like you keep getting more. And I feel like every time that they present one body and they say, this one's fake, and they're like, no, we've got some other ones. These are the real ones. And I'm like, wait, where did those ones come from?
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a cake one that we bring out for special events.
And I think one of the article that I linked, like somebody asked the guy, like, hey, like, where did they get these bodies? And the guy's like, oh, a grave robber gave them to us. You're like, wait,
no. He said a grave robber told us about it.
Oh.
And they wouldn't show us. So we had to bribe him, and then he showed us.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
That's where all great discoveries are found there, man. So it's
great grave robbing.
Yeah, great grave robbing.
I guess all of archaeology is really grave robbing at some point.
Yeah, right? 100%. Now we wanted to try something tonight on ATT Live that we're going to try to maybe bring in the future. Obviously, the start of the show, if you were watching the live stream, wasn't quite working out, but I think we got all the kinks worked out, maybe. But if you want to give us a call on ATT Live, you want to say your 2 cents on the Mexican cake babies. You got a theory you wanted to tell us about, or you just had a question for us. You can call us 1-833-703-0424. We got an open line. We're gonna see if it works. If anyone wants to call, if not, Dan, what I really wanted to do tonight. Someone asked me at this birthday party. It always comes up. It's like,
sure.
Hey, what's that giant trailer in your front yard? Right? And I'm like, oh yeah, the work trailer, it's a studio. And then so someone comes in here.
That's in your front yard?
Yeah. Well, my front yard.
I always thought it was in your backyard.
No, my front yard has bushes, so you can't see it.
Okay. So obviously you can, because that person asked you about it.
Well, no, because he was over for the birthday party.
Oh, okay.
So he comes in, and then he's just like looking at the stuff. He goes, see a big alien and stuff.
So you cook a meth?
Yeah. And he's like, big like alien, you big alien, and like Bigfoot and stuff. I go,
you party?
I party. I party. And he just hits me with this one. He goes, top 10 cryptids. What do you think?
Top 10 is a lot.
And I went like very quickly, I was just like, I started spouting off a couple, and then I was like, you know what? Hold on a second. I got to backtrack, because like, I think I can guess for you and me, like the front runner number 1, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Like runaway number 1.
Yeah.
But easy. See, where I was starting to get like difficulties was I was like, all right, like number 3, like number 2, I was like, at first I was like, oh, like probably Nessie, like in my head, that first came to mind. And then I was like, yeah, but Mothman doesn't have a lot, but
I don't even think I would put Nessie in like my top 5 anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I put Nessie up there. Like,
I had Nessie just for historical reasons of like,
yeah. Well, I guess okay. Like, it depends on what criteria you're rating on these. If it's just like personal preference, like I don't even think Nessie's in my top 5.
100%.
It probably top. It's like it would for me. Like top 5 would probably be like Bigfoot, like Mothman, then probably like I don't know, like the Beast of Prey Road, like would be pretty cool.
Oh, see, that's you're getting pretty.
So I don't know.
It's a real fall off, I think, after your top 2 there of popularity. But I guess that's a personal
You're
preference.
popular, but it's personal preference.
Yeah, I guess
like
so.
if it's personal preference, and it's like, okay, so these ones, and then just like, is it are we going like cryptids by like variations? Like, because I could be like, I don't know, you could be like, is the Rougarou, like, is Rougarou like a variation of werewolf? Like, is that a cryptid? Or
I would call it a cryptid. If you said werewolf and Rougarou, if you were like werewolf number 4, Rougarou number 5, I'd be like,
this is the same thing.
Yeah, I'd be like, that's okay.
These are the same picture.
That's just like a subclass. Right? I was like, that's like a subclass, but Rougarou's up there for me, I think.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, like, does Wendigos count?
Yeah, well, so see, here's where we go.
So it's like folklore. Like, I don't even know if that counts as a cryptid.
I would count
that's like a folklore thing.
That's
like being a ghost is a cryptid. That's being like
is
ghost
it?
or cryptid. Yeah, I would count Wendigo more as like paranormal than cryptid. Like, I think
it's a creature.
Yeah, but it's more like a spirit animal.
All right, well, okay, well, then we got skinwalkers
like
too.
A demon. That'd be like demons are cryptids.
Duchess Doobies. You know what? I didn't even think Chupacabra, and that's another one. That's another huge one that like should go up there. Like I think the first Bigfoot Mothman, I think for a lot of people are like pretty solid. Where you just like you're like, all right.
I put Van Meter Monster on the top of mine. I love that one. I thought that was one of the really obscure ones that I hadn't heard about. And I was like, what? That one's cool.
Yeah, the Van Meter Monster one is absolutely wild. If you don't know what that is, me and Dan do a confidential on Patreon about the Van Meter Monster. But a basic runoff is, I don't remember, is the town called Van Meter?
I think the town was Van Meter. And then it was, it's a Van Meter. It's a fucking pterodactyl that shoots laser beams out of its eyes. Like,
and there was 2 of them. They dug so deep that these things came out of the mine. And they flew back in and they just blew up the mine. And it was a mining town. They're just like, fuck it, blow up the mine. Don't let these things back up. And
put it back in there.
Chrissy McConnell's like, mermaids. Yeah, fucking best of both worlds. I mean, that's right?
I guess the mermaids count. Like, mermaids count as cryptids?
I guess so. I guess if you said sirens, people would like, that's a little more
mythology.
Is it mythology? But like, it's also cryptid.
Well, yeah, again.
Because then, like, do you count as like, what is like the definition of a cryptid actually? Like, now that I'm thinking about it,
would be like it'd be like an animal. I guess cryptozoology would be like an animal that could actually, or like it's an actual physical biological thing, where it's like, I guess you could say merman, but then it's mer people, but then it would also be like just like fish people. Like I don't know. It's like I guess it's a very because it's like cryptozoology is like hunting for stuff that's been extinct, like being in like going after a Tasmanian, like a Tasmanian tiger, right? Like
no.
Like
the definition, I've just pulled it up. The definition is an animal that has been claimed to exist but never proven to exist.
Well, it's like saying like an extinct, like the Tasmanian tiger. Like I was saying, like the Tasmanian tiger is supposed to be extinct, and you're still looking for it. I would still call that cryptozoology.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, though that makes sense.
Or like Monkele Mbembe, whatever. Like the dinosaurs living in the Congo. I suppose that would also be a cryptid. It's something like that. Or very extremely large reptiles, like giant crocodiles, or the huge snakes that live in the Amazon. Like those count as cryptids, I suppose. Like a snake over 60 feet or something. Would that be a cryptid? I suppose. I
mean, I would. Yeah, I would think so. Like if you're like anything from the movie The Anaconda, yeah, that's in there. But like, I was like in my head, like just popping up. I was just like, okay, Jersey Devil was dope. Like,
I guess, Jersey Devil will go up there.
I don't know if you like, I think some people, depends who you would talk to, but I think some people would not. There's probably like, there's real right-wing Bigfoot people out there that would be like Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, Grassman. Those are all different.
That's what I'm saying.
Those are all different. Yeah. And I'm like,
skunk ape, like skunk ape
are,
and Sasquatch go together?
Yeah,
like,
I'm saying that's like when you say Bigfoot, those all kind of fall categorically under Bigfoot.
So you could be like cryptid would be like the Kraken, which I wouldn't put in my top 5 because I hate the idea that there's a giant squid out there. I hate the idea of giant squid. Period. Like they creep me out. I don't like them. I'm
gonna call those people that don't allow you to just log all those under the term Bigfoot as Bigfoot extremists from now on. It's like they're all separate. Like no, they're just all the same. It's all a giant bipedal ape. It's all different names, different places. It's all the same.
Yeah, I guess. Well, did Nessie and Ogopogo be the same thing then? Sea serpents? Like sea serpents would be a cryptid, I suppose. Like you put sea serpents just all in their own
maybe
category.
Because it's like, is Nessie a sea serpent because he's also like that kind of like logged as the dinosaur kind of thing? But like all the pogos, like I wouldn't be like Ogopogo, Manipogo, Brogo Pogo, Lake Cowichan Pogo. Like those are all pogos, right? They're all like
right.
They fall under
but they're all like sea serpents. They're all like giant lizards that are giant reptiles. They're supposed to supposedly reptiles. But when you put sea serpents would be cryptid.
Yeah,
I feel like they would all go together.
John Jacoby just donated to the beer fund. Said, what's up? Thank you, John Jacoby. And if you know, we got a new QR code. If you want to support the show, we got a bunch of ways to do it on ATT. You can go buy yourself some merch. Patreon.com/Alien Theorists Podcast. You get yourself hours and hours of bonus material.
Did you say we get new shirts or something? No,
well, we're getting new shirts.
We're getting new shirts. We're being courted.
We're being courted. We're going to test the quality, and maybe we'll we might be switching merch providers, but we don't know. But if you want to scan the QR code over there, you can. That's the best way to donate to the show because no one gets their little filthy grubs on anything. That goes right to us, and you can get yourself on the top of the leaderboard. If you could be the first. Right now, there's no one. Look at that. No tips.
Helheimi? What was that? Was it Helheimo? This started following.
I don't know why. That's the wildest thing.
Are those old?
No. That someone just obviously followed us. Thanks for
the follow. Obviously, cool.
But I don't know why. I have all those alerts turned off.
Okay.
So it's just I don't know why we got. I don't know why we got it in our ear. But
why did you turn those off? I want to see people follow.
No, we can see it, but not hear it.
Oh.
But welcome, Helheimi 74. But back on the topic of cryptids. So it's like realistically here, like Bigfoot, I think I'm locking in. Like if we had to do a joint top 10, I think safely we could lock in Bigfoot, Mothman 1 and 2. Easy.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like
just Mothman on his statue alone. He might be not runner for number 1 for me. Sweet statue.
Yeah, the statue. And it's not like Mothman doesn't have a large body of work, right? But what he did in that short period of time, phenomenal.
Resonates throughout the ages.
Yeah, phenomenal work in that short span, right? Like really captured the hearts and minds of the people. But like after like that, it's really tough. Like you're gonna have a really, like I don't think that's too controversial. I think we could say pretty broadly, Bigfoot, Mothman 1 and 2.
Yeah, but those are like distinct ones where I could be like, if you just said giants, or trolls, I suppose, like would those be cryptids? Like, or do giants, like? Well,
yeah, I would say they're different than Bigfoot because Bigfoot.
But you say Bigfoot and skunk ape are the same thing, right?
Have this hairless body and the tall, colorful hair.
Sunlight and turn to stone in the sunlight. Yeah. But would you be like wild men, like like Sasquatch, skunk ape, grassman, orang pendek to some extent?
What's orang maniac? That's the fucking oily man.
That's the greasy man. Yeah,
the greasy man.
Greasy man.
Greasy man.
The grease man.
Grease man. Did I ever tell you that a person called on Cosmic Channels and
to talk about the grease man?
No, he was a grease man. Yeah, he didn't call him that, but he talked about this. He talked about his family was from India, like a village in India.
Sure.
And just like these two young men went kind of missing, and then for 2 nights in a row, this guy just showed up knocking on everyone's doors with chains wrapped around his hands, like covered in oil.
Okay.
And like freaked everyone out. And then like one of the guys turned up dead and the other one was never seen from again. and his like parents like tell this account of this terrifying like oily man with chain hands, like chains wrapped around his hands. And so I was like, all right, I was like, dude, that's a Rang Minyak. I know that one.
I know that guy.
I was like, he's hunting to sexually molest people. So I think that's what
Don't let him in.
Did. John Jacoby, look at this guy. John Jacoby donated, and he was the first person. I don't know why it hasn't popped up.
I thought that notification was an old one.
Look at them.
Again?
Top tipper. No, new one. Top tipper, John Jacoby. Thank you for that. You're going to live up there forever now. You're the all-time leader and top tipper on ATT Live. Congratulations. Duchess of Doobies, she's given her top 5. Listen, and if you want to call us to test the line and tell us your top 5 so we can criticize it, 1-833-703-0424. We'll tell you where you got it.
We'll tell you why you're wrong.
We'll tell you why you're wrong and where you went wrong and how you can improve yourself. 1-833-703-0424 if anyone wants to try the lines. Duchess Doobie says Bigfoot, Mothman, Chupacabra, and Nessie is 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, listen, Chupacabra is a good 3. That's a good 3, right? Like, I mean, you're making a face, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think Nessie makes top 5 anymore. I don't.
But what about Chupacabra? How's your feeling in Chupacabra in number 3 spot?
Like Chupacabra's okay. Like I feel like Chupacabra is like there are. We have a phone call.
Oh, okay. Let's go to the lines. Let's see who's calling here. ATT Live. Who's calling here? Where you from?
Cryptid Countdown. You're wrong.
Hello.
Long time listener.
What's going on, John Jacoby? How's it going?
Hey.
We're
my top 5 is Dan, Zell, Braden, Scotty.
And what's number 5 there?
Well, I was thinking about number 5, and I decided on.
Whoop.
Hang up on us. This is what he does.
Hang up.
This is what he does. If you want to call and give us your top 5 cryptids, like I said, we'll accept them. You're not going to get out of here unscathed, though, if you're not right. Someone said Leprechaun top 5. I mean,
yeah, see, like, does Leprechaun make cryptid?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the horror movie Leprechaun, that's.
No. It's still not cryptid. No, just because they're scary doesn't make them a cryptid, though. You know, it's like
right. We got Brian. We like to call him Brian Boner around here. He donated the chat. Thank you, Brian Boner. Big super chat there. He's saying Fallen Angels, but those are like, is that
those are the same thing as like cryptid? The same thing as like Wendigo. It's almost folklore.
But I guess so. I think you'd have a tough time selling me on a Fallen Angel in the top 5.
Not in cryptids, like, you know, it's like I don't know.
I'm just saying, for me personally, if you're calling in and you're saying, hey, listen, it's going Bigfoot, Mothman, Fallen Angels, I'm gonna go, come on, come on, let's rethink that. I honestly, as I'm sitting here, I think Wendigo is going.
A Wendigo really counts as a cryptid. Like,
I think so.
But like a Wendigo, it's like it depends. It's because is it a shapeshifter like thing where it's not like really a cryptid. It's like a magical being where it's, you know, it's birthed by some kind of curse or magic or something like that. Like it's not. It's like saying a skinwalker. It's like being like, oh, a skinwalker's a cryptid. And like,
I would listen. If Travis Taylor heard you talking like that, he would be firing off some fucking.
Oh man, we'd have like a 3-page long email,
spirited emails to you,
all
right
caps,
now.
at us.
Fresno Night Stalkers. Listen, if we're talking about cute cryptids, Fresno, the fucking dancing pants are probably like right up there in my top 5 of the cutest cryptids. All right, little dancing pants. Someone, I can't. I hate that I can't remember the name because I've seen them a bunch. Someone that follows ATT. It might be Cryptid Designs. I don't know. I don't want to say the name because I'm not sure. But someone makes a plushie that I've seen, and I'm gonna find it, and it's just the pants.
Caesar P says duendes from Mexico. That is also, I would count that as folklore / magical beings. They're tiny little, they're like gnomes. Like, there's like South American leprechauns.
Yeah. When you just heard us talk trash about leprechauns, you're gonna say another name for leprechaun?
Yeah.
Irish Potato is saying that what's the definition of a cryptid? Is it only animal? Well, that's that's the definition of what it says. It says an animal that has been claimed to exist but never proven to exist.
So it's like that's what I'm saying. So like sea serpent, giant squids.
Oh, hold on. But it says, contrary to popular belief, cryptids don't have to be supernatural, mythical, or even all that strange.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like they don't have to be so supernatural. And what was the other one? Supernatural and
paranormal.
Mythical. Paranormal.
No, mythical.
So mythical and supernatural are out of it. Like if it's a cryptid, it's something that probably exists. So like I said, like it's like, previously thought to be extinct animals, or, sea serpents, or giant squids, or wild giant apes, or something like that. Like that would be, I would count those as cryptids.
Yeah. So you're not really including like, but it says they don't have to be supernatural or mythical, which leaves the window open that they can be supernatural.
Like maybe mermaids, like kind of in there. Like, probably.
If we're talking about bangable cryptids,
okay.
Mermaid's number one.
Okay. All right.
Let's get to the real list here. Okay.
Which cryptids would you bang?
What's your top 5? All right? I got mermaids, Hogzilla, Donkey Lady, Goat Man.
I feel like Ruguru would call you in the morning. Giant sloths. Yeah, Invalid ID gets it. Like giant sloths. Yeah, like if giant sloths still exist, like that would be a cryptid. Like I'd feel like those would be a thing.
Well, I guess you would like, but it's like it's a weird one because it's like the second these things are found, they pop off the list, right?
Well, dude, nobody's finding a fucking giant sloth. Those things are huge. If they existed, they probably would have been found by now. I've seen some of those, like like some of the articles that they come in, they're like, oh, like this ancient cave was like dug out by a giant sloth, and they're huge. Like those things are. I've seen the skeletons in the Natural History Museum in DC, and those things are just ginormous, like size like small elephants, and you're just like, yeah, if somebody would have found one of those by now.
Loveland Frog's good. I like Loveland. I like Loveland Frog.
Yeah, Loveland Frog people. And fucking the Lizard Man Escape War Swamp. Like I put him up
magic
there.
Though they got magic sticks, right?
Yeah, that's true. Oh no, Lizard Man Escape War Swamp doesn't have magic.
No, Lizard Man doesn't.
Yeah, so I'd say Lizard Man be a cryptid. Like lizard people.
Unicorns and dragons. Yeah, I would assume they're cryptids. Okay, listen. Do you know what's an interesting thing? Is I don't know where I saw this video. So there's a chance that it could have been TikTok. So then I'm embarrassed to even say it. If it is the fact that I got TikTok, but I was watching this long form video. I feel like it was YouTube because it was long. And it was talking about the possibility of dragons. And then it was saying like, if there was giant flying, like lizards of that kind of size and scope and caliber, that like there's like, almost every civilization like has a dragon myth. So if there was that kind of giant lizard, it couldn't have like, it would have to have like hollow bones, like hollow bird bones. And and then the person goes like, those do not stand the test of time well at all. They they get crushed, they get pulverized. Like the hollow bones do not translate well to like fossil records.
Sure.
And I have no idea if that's right or not. But I was like, I liked what this guy's saying. I like it. He's got me convinced.
I mean,
there's no fossils because they had hollow bones, baby.
Yeah, well, technically, like all bones are, not preservable. It kind of depends on what happens, because like I think we haven't said it, but if you read anything about finding fossils and like dinosaur bones and stuff like that, it's always like they're like this was a big discovery, because even finding fossils is a rare occasion, and finding a fully preserved body of a dinosaur is an even more rare occasion of finding these things. But it depends on how they were preserved. Like if a dragon fell into the Bray tar pits, or it got covered in volcanic mud or something like that, and then
maybe,
just
it would,
you
it would have
see
to be the
it.
perfect.
And it's like, they would have to have hollow bones, and there's probably other stuff that would have to be considered there. Like I think one of the theories, I remember there was it was a long time ago. They had like a Discovery Channel kind of pseudo documentary about like dragons, like if dragons existed, and it's like, scientists have
Was it on Dragon Week?
Probably, I don't know. It was one of those things where it was like the one that they did about mermaids, and it was kind of like scientists have found the first the first dragon skeleton, and they're kind of hypothesizing about like how a dragon would physically work. And I think one of them was like, maybe it had like inflatable gas sacks like inside of it to help it buoyant, like help it fly, lift into the air, make it a little bit lighter, something like that. And then
is helium flammable?
Like hydrogen is like.
Does it float?
It's also really volatile, so I feel like if they were like shooting fire out of the mouth, they would just explode.
Maybe it's like bees. Maybe it's like bees, where it's like, like a honeybee stings you once and they're dead. It's like the dragon blows fire once and it's just like
it's just boom, boom. That seems like a really bad evolutionary design.
Yeah. Bandito Frito saying the Fook monster. Well, that's like mean Bigfoot though, right? Like that's angry Bigfoot.
That's like that Momo is Momo, the Missouri.
Same with Yowie, isn't Yowie's just Yowie's
that's why I would say like wild men, ape men
or
something like that would all be under one umbrella.
Megalodon,
like Bigfoot. It would just be like under Bigfoot, which
Megalodon, is we could put that one in. I don't like
giant shark. I don't want a giant shark roaming around the fucking ocean.
I don't know even if giant sharks make my top my top 10.
Like I said, there's something I wouldn't put in my top 5 because I just don't want them to exist. Like giant sharks, yes. Giant squids, yes. Even though I know that they do exist, and we just haven't found like a really good example of a fully grown one, but they're terrifying. And I just don't.
Yeah,
they're out there. They're fucking out there.
Irish potatoes and Slenderman. No, well, Slenderman's like urban legend. Urban legend,
ghost.
But here's the thing, and it's one of those ones where it's like, if Slenderman is existing, and because we created it, we consciously brought it into our realm. So he's gonna fall into paranormal, maybe. Like not so much cryptid. I think he's more would fall under paranormal. Like he's not like a beast or right. Like
I said, Slenderman's like a
man.
Slenderman's like is not a cryptid. He's not an animal. Like he's not an animal. It's a
man in a
it's apparition.
Or, it was
again, like I'd say, it's paranormal ghost territory. Demon
you
territory.
Stupid idiot.
Why are you bringing this Slenderman shit?
Yeah, we're talking cryptids.
Cryptid conversation.
Yeah,
Jesus.
what the hell?
God.
No, paranormal is not cryptid. Cryptids are animals that have not been discovered. They can be supernatural or mythical.
We're speaking on the strictest definition of the
word. What about hellhound?
Okay, here, that's a good example. That's a good example. So like what is it, the large cats of England or whatever, where there's all the reported sightings of these like large cats that roam around parts of England, and people have reported things like that. Like those would be cryptids. Like those are cryptids, these large cats which are becoming more popular in recent months for some reason.
I've had a whole bunch of Cosmic Channel calls of people describing like giant black pumas, like in populated cities. Yeah. And I'm like, and then I didn't realize it was such a thing.
Did you see the thing they posted in our Discord? Like there's like a fully grown tiger like wandering around in like the Florida swamps or something like that. Somebody posted that in their thing and it was like, holy crap. I think it was Silver Lotus they like posted this like, there's just tigers. Florida's got everything. You got fucking giant snakes, you got gators, you got fucking, I'm pretty sure they have bobcats or something. And then now you've got a fully grown tiger running around.
Alligators, boa constrictors. Yes. Hell Hemi 74 donated to the old cause there. Thank you so much. Listen, you got your name up on the wall of fame as it hasn't popped out. It hasn't populated yet, but it will. You'll be number 2 on the all-time donator list. Thank you so much. Killer Bees 12 is asking, where's the Only Dance?
Haven't got it up and running yet. Not yet.
Yeah, it's Dan. He starts looking in the mirror and then he just gets he can't even take the pictures. He's just
that's not the yeah. You got to find the cryptid, the Danaconda. That's top 5 cryptid, top number 1.
There you go, Hell Hemi 74. You're on the list there. I see you there, number 2 all time. Thank you for donating to the show.
Two.
Yeah, the Danaconda. That's on Dan's list. Number 3. See, Yorigomo that's an interesting one because that's the Japanese spider woman. But that's a more
that's a paranormal folklore thing. It's like
potato,
I said that you can't put demons.
Demons
on demons don't go on the cryptid list. Like they don't go on the cryptid.
Dan, this is a good one. I don't know. Caesar P is saying the Melangians of Appalachia. I don't know.
Those like the blue people.
Are they the blue people?
I'm trying to remember.
If I Google this on stream and it's something bad. No, these are people.
Oh, are they just like weird people? They're just like
they're weird people. Hold on, I better pull this. I better pull this off just in case. I should have done that first. What are they? I don't know.
Oh, they're like the blue people.
Yeah, they're the blue people. Yeah.
Or not blue people, but they're just like
I don't know.
Like,
it says
people with a distinct darker skin color, I guess. That doesn't count as a cryptid. Those are just people. I would put them in that would be weird to put them on the cryptid list.
Hell Hemi 74 said, I've been watching y'all since y'all started Cosmic Channels as well. Would listen to y'all on night shifts. Glad I could support. Thank you. Hey, glad we're giving you something to do on night shift. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Bandito is saying, did we talk about the Flintstones theory? That's the theory that it is a documentary? I know Andrew said that in jest.
Dinosaurs and humans live together?
Yeah, we do now, technically. We got chickens. Right? They just evolved down.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's like really, to get to the top 10, we're still on 2. Bigfoot, Mothman. What if we had to come up with a third of the consensus of number 3? Dan, what are you thinking? Is your number what would you put as number 3 in there? Plug it in there.
Number 3. I mean, I thought we were just putting Chupacabra in there. Like
Chupacabra?
Is interesting. But not like the Texas Chupacabra, which is like some kind of weird hybrid dog, but like the Puerto Rico one that's like the weird little lizard.
It's got this photo.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about with like the red eyes? Yeah.
He's this big old head and he's got the little spikes on it, little quills on his head.
100%.
Like that, I put that one.
Okay.
I put that one on 3.
I think for the body of work, the Chupacabra, it's a household name.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody knows what it is.
Listen to Duchess and Doobies topping up the beer fund. Thank you. And also jumping into the ATT all-time leaderboards for donations. Thank you so much for topping up the line's not closed. It's still open. Call in. Let us know. 1-833-703-0424. Unless, hold on. Let me just double check. No. Oh, hold on. Yeah. Hold on. They did turn off. Hold on. They're back on.
Nice.
They're back on.
Nice.
They're back on.
Let them unintended for too long.
Well, you know what happens is the lines have a time slot that because I have to keep them. I have to keep them locked, so just people will get a voicemail any other time they call. So I set a time and we passed that time. So then I was like, oh shit. Just extend it a little bit. So if you want to call 1-833-703-0424, you can call in. The lines should be working. If you want to give your top 5 before we go here, and we can we'll critique your top 5. But Chupacabra, okay. Someone said the Dover Demon. Now that's I think the name implies that it wouldn't be on the list, but its body of work, I would put it on the list.
Dover Demon, I don't know. Again, if it's like strictly animal something, it doesn't fit the thing. It doesn't.
All right, we got to call.
Phone call.
We got to call the line.
Hello, caller.
Hello, caller. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, I'm Adam calling from Detroit.
What's going on, Adam?
Nice.
Not a whole lot. Just headed back home, being out. So I'm listening to this. I got a question for you. I know you guys just kind of defined what a cryptid is. Let me ask you if this would count. Do you remember the Kentucky goblins, aliens that attacked that house and stuff?
Kelly Hopkins.
Yeah, the Hopkins UFO.
Yeah. I think it was that story that they said those things ran off and lived in the caves and stuff. Living out there in the caves, could you count that as a cryptid?
Yeah. You know what? I listen. I am gonna say I'll go on record right now, and I'm saying if those things are in the caves, right, and they're cave goblins, I'm counting them as cryptids 100%.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that off the UFO list from now on. I'll be like, no. That's not a UFO. That's a cryptid encounter.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't see him leave.
They
we
live
didn't
in
see
a
him leave
cave
in a
and they're a
UFO,
weird
so.
monster. That's a cryptid.
Yeah.
That's
little cave goblins.
And you know what? Now that we're even kind of on that topic, how dare the UFO community point to the Kelly Hopkinsville UFO encounter as evidence for UFOs and not evidence for fucking weird cryptids living on Earth? Because those things are in the caves.
Yeah, they're not like aliens. They live on Earth. They live in a cave. That's a cryptid to me. I'm glad you agree with me.
No, I think It is. I think you got the live stream on in the background because I hear my own voice, but it is a. Oh. I never thought of it that way. I never thought of it that way before. Where these things.
Sorry, that's better.
Yeah, where these things were in caves, so they're technically a cryptid. It's not like they go to space. It's not like they're like they got beamed up. We saw crafts. There was none of that. They believe they came from the caves.
Yeah, and that is one of the craziest stories. I love that. I cannot remember the name of this. You remember? It's the Flatwoods Monster.
Oh yeah.
You guys know what I'm
talking
West
about?
Virginia.
It's that's West Virginia.
The big red eyes and the feathery fucking.
Yeah. And I think they made them in Ocarina of Time. They were like the ghost or whatever you had to kill or something like that. They made it look like that, which is awesome.
Yeah, I remember that.
I wouldn't put Flatwoods Monster in there. I wouldn't put. It's more. Just it doesn't feel like an animal-ish. The goblins, yes, the goblins could be something, but I don't know. For me, instinctively, I would put them on there. Yeah, I put them on an alien. I'd be like, okay, Flatwoods Monster is an alien, but I wouldn't put him on a cryptid. I wouldn't put him as a cryptid, I suppose.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Well, but, and
that's my knee-jerk reaction to be like, okay.
Yeah. No, that's usually the right one.
Yeah, and he the Flatwoods Monster. They were wasn't it and I can't remember. It's been so long since we talked about it. But didn't they think it had something to do with people saw a meteor, a bright light in the sky, and then saw this thing?
Yeah, I think that's possible. That sounds about right. I don't remember.
I don't really remember. But if that's if that's the case where there's a crash, it's extraterrestrial. Yeah, he's off the cryptid list.
Or is it any? I guess anything that you think is a cryptid, but it's also accompanied by atmospheric phenomena would be take it off the list. It doesn't make it out of the cryptid list.
What about Jersey Devil?
I gotta look Jersey Devil up again.
See, Jersey Devil only for me doesn't make cryptid because it is the original story for it is it's a demon. It is supposed to be a demon.
It's a bipedal goat man.
I mean, it was a lady had a kid that was the fucking devil.
Right, but she cursed. Yeah, she cursed it. That was the original story is she cursed it. Made whatever it is. It's going to be the devil or whatever. And then
Dan, listen, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit based on the common description of the Jersey Devil, which is bipedal kangaroo-like or. Kangaroo-like.
Kangaroo.
That's what they say. Kangaroo-like creature with a horse or goat-like head, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, legs with cloven hooves, and a forked and pointed tail. I'm like, you're describing an animal. You're using all animal parts to describe this thing. That's a cryptid, baby.
So everything but how can you have cloven hooves and kangaroo legs?
Well, I think because it's the way it stands. Like if you
no, that's what don't like. They're talking about like bent backwards instead of like our leg. I get what they're saying, but that's a dumb way to describe it.
That is a dumb way to describe it. But hey, listen, I wasn't in charge of the Wikipedia page.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would have said like a bipedal goat.
Right. It's got goat legs.
It's got goat. It's got
story forever. Goat legs.
Yeah.
So. Would Yeti and Bigfoot be two separate things or
no?
No, unless you're a Bigfoot extremist, where you're like, there's all these subclasses, and you can't can't just label them all as Bigfoot, and you're gonna be like, they're different creatures, they're different. No, like here on this show, I think we're in agreement. Me and Dan are in agreement that Bigfoot kind of encompasses like the giant ape-like wild man, the grass man, the Fuchs monster, Yeti.
Yeah. Honey Island Swamp, Island Monster, all of those ones.
Swamp Ape.
I want to talk about some of the classics here. Like you touched on the Chupacabra. Like when I was born like '83, so like I grew up in the '80s and then early '90s. Like I love that. But the Chupacabra is pretty much a dog with mange. Is what I pretty much figured out. Like all that stuff, whatever washes up, whatever carcasses they find. It's a freaking dog or something. Well, I like the lizard one with the tongue and the spikes. And
that's what we said. That's the Puerto Rico one. And then the Texas one is the Texas and the southwestern United States ones, and to some extent probably northern Mexico. That one is some sort of hybrid dog canine creature thing. Is the ones that you're seeing, but we personally like the Puerto Rico ones, which they could be distinct things. Like they could be just totally distinct animals. That could be it could have been in some sort of alien hybrid escape monster thing, and then the other one is some sort of dog with mange that they just called the Chupacabra just because it was around the same time. But so it could be something like that. That could be that could be the case, but who knows?
Yeah. I still think, I don't know about Nessie. I'm still on the fence with it because, like, I think all the evidence, that quote unquote evidence, like classic stuff, it's all bull crap. But, like, there's the reports and other things that you're not sure. But I don't know. I'm kind of, what's your guys' thoughts as far as, like, it's a lot of it's bull, like all the photos, in some of the older videos, and now you look at it and it's totally fake or whatever. So.
Well,
but I still want to believe in it.
Yeah,
so, I want Nessie to be real.
I throw Nessie. Nessie is gonna play somewhere on my top 10 of cryptids. I don't know where, and it's not necessarily because of all the evidence. Because like as we know, there's a ton of fake. You know what? Honestly, Nessie's like the Hulk Hogan of cryptids. You know what? She's got that name brand, baby. Like name
brand,
right? You can go anywhere and say Nessie.
Tourist destination all by yourself.
Yeah, and everyone knows the Loch Ness monster. Like that is a household thing. So it's like I'm putting Nessie up there because there is weird things in bodies of water, and maybe we haven't seen this thing, or there's hoaxes aside, it's got that name brand, right? Like it was
on The Simpsons.
Yeah, The Simpsons, right? Like
it's on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, like it's so for me it's always got a special place in my heart because all the racism aside, and all the sex videos and stuff, just from my kid. That's a Hulk Hogan reference.
Okay. Wait, Loch Ness monster sex videos?
When I was a kid,
infomercial, it's one of the best things ever. If you've never seen it,
the Nessie infomercial.
No, the Hulk Hogan infomercial for his juicer or something. It's awesome.
I used to send Dan videos. I sent Dan videos of Hulk Hogan, but reversed, and it sounds like he's possessed by demons.
That's awesome.
It's great, all his old promos. But Adam, thank you so much for calling in, and
have a great night. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hey, I forgot it's St. Patrick's Day. Top of the morning to you. I don't know what you said.
Yeah.
In the evening.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great night.
All right, cheers.
All right, take care.
Someone in the chat saying puck wedgies.
I don't know. Yeah, puck wedgies. Mike LeMay Jr.
Yes.
Puck wedgies. I don't know. I kind of put them with leprechauns. Like it's more of like a mythological thing.
Yeah.
Not sure if I'd put them in there.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
still feel like the Kelly Hopkinsville goblins kind of opens the door for some other stuff. But
I don't think so because of the cave dwelling. Like I thought, what door does that open for you?
Yeah, well,
Right? That was a good point. That was a good point. It from now on, that's a fucking cryptid encounter. That's not. There's no evidence. There is zero evidence in that case that those are extraterrestrials.
Sure.
This will be the last call of the night. But the call I think that people like this, so we're gonna keep doing this on Sunday lives. ATT Live. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Bandito.
Holy Bandito, you sound like a cryptid. Your voice is
I know,
your voice is still
I
gone.
have a bad voice.
This is like 2 weeks.
Huh?
It's like 2 weeks
I
of
know.
this. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's crazy. That's what happens when you get old.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I wanted to talk about the theory of the Flintstones real fast. I know it's not cryptid related, but
That's fine.
it's on my mind and I want to tell you guys. So there's a theory out there that says the Flintstones and the Jetsons actually exist at the same time.
Well, they
That
did.
something
There was a
happened.
crossover show.
No, but the Jetsons went back in time.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Oh.
That's how it happened.
For that show. But in the theory is that they exist at the same time, that something happened on Earth. So they moved to space, but then population re-went on Earth and, came back up. And so the Jetsons who live up in the sky are existing at the same time as the Flintstones who live on, actually back on Earth.
Well, I'm the only.
We're talking like Hanna-Barbera canon, or we're just
because I'm going to say if it's
just like no, because they did go back in time.
Yeah. There was a crossover episode that kills that theory because, like Dan said, they go back in time. So it's like.
Well, yeah, but do they really go back in time?
Well, I would say that maybe I would be more convinced of like the Jets. You could say that Flintstones and the Jetsons are like the Jetsons are a linear progression from the Flintstones. I would be more on board with that. It's like the Jetsons are just like humans, like from the Flintstones. Through thousands of years of evolution and whatever they did to their planet and whatever moved to space. And now you got George Jetson flying around. Like that's a linear progression.
Yeah, I feel like the Great Gazoo would show up in the Jetsons too.
Did the Great Gazoo show up in the Jetsons? I don't remember.
That's why I feel like he would have shown up in the Jetsons. They've existed at the same time. I feel like the Great Gazoo would have showed up in the Jetsons.
Yeah, and I've like now that you say that, I've seen that before, but like that crossover episode just kills that theory because they go back in time. So we'd have to suspend belief that George Jetson's now a liar and didn't actually go back in time. This is some sort of huge propaganda done by fucking Mr. Sprocket or whatever. George Jetson into thinking he's going back in time when really he's just visiting Earth, which everyone believes is destroyed. Right. And this is some big Sprocket propaganda.
But I mean, there's a movie, that's basically that, The Village, right? So everybody believes they're living in this olden times and blah, 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 but really they're in modern time. So, I mean, that theory is out there and it's in movie TV lore, at least it's something that's possible.
Well, it's possible. It's real life too, though, because there's uncontacted tribes that see our planes and go like, oh, what is that?
Right. Exactly.
So that's.
I mean,
I've always pointed to that happening as like, who are we to say like we look at those people and we're like, oh, look at them, like we could just change their lives in a day and contact them, but we leave them be, and so like. For me to sit here and be like, we're, sitting here watching Love is Blind, crushing my fucking second bottle of red wine, being like, I'm the top of the food chain. And there's not some alien human looking at me being like, I could change this guy's life in a second. They're like, we're not contacting him. Right. And UFOs are just glimpses of just far more advanced humans somewhere else. Like I've subscribed to that too. I think it's a very interesting thought experiment.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you think about it in that respect, that's 3 levels. You could say that the aliens above us is the higher level. We're kind of like a middle level. And then our uncontacted tribes would be or you could say the uncontacted tribes are like the Flintstones level.
Yeah.
We right now are sort of the Jetsons level. Technically, that's where we're supposed to be right now. And then there's the upper level, maybe above us.
They had a robot maid in the Jetsons. You can't even compare.
Yeah,
us.
but also the Jetsons,
Oh,
the
you got the
Jetsons
Roomba.
buildings.
You get the Roomba.
Well, the Jetsons buildings, like they're not like
Roomba,
floating. They're not floating in the atmosphere. Like the buildings are actually like on top of poles. Because there's an episode where they actually like move it up. They're like, oh, it's foggy out today, and they just like go up. Like they just press a button and it moves the whole building like up. So like I feel like the Flintstones that exist, like those buildings, like they would notice those supports kind of floating around. Like
well,
it
not
builds.
if the Flintstones are all just on one specific, let's say, landmass, and all of those poles are on a different landmass.
In Antarctica, where you're not allowed to go.
Exactly. They're above the ice wall.
I like it. You're not allowed to pass it. Bandito, go get yourself some lemon tea or something and rest up that voice, because I sent you a story and I'm expecting clear audio when I get it from you.
I know. I'm going to try to do it Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see what it sounds like by then.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bandito, for calling in.
All right. No problem. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
That's going to be the last call that we're taking tonight on ITT Live. It's been a fun show. We're going to have more call-ins now. We were going to try to do it last week, I think, but we had some technical difficulties that prevented it. Thank you, everyone, for supporting Alien Theorists Theorizing. We really appreciate it. If you want to support the show, tons of ways to do it. You can donate right to our PayPal by scanning that link, get your name on that leaderboard, or go to patreon.com/Alien Theorists Podcast and listen. Help us help you. You donate, you get hundreds of hours of bonus stuff. You get daddies and baddies. You get ATT confidentials. You get skin talkers on Skinwalkers. All the cool stuff we do, you get. But, let's wrap this one up. With what we say, what do we normally say?
I don't even know what we say at this thing.
What do we say at these things?
I think we just always say it.
Keep those eyes.
Yeah, that works.
On the skies. Peace.